Hey everybody, my name is Crys'Dawna. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button. If you're not new here, welcome back, friends and family. It has been quite some time since I have really just fully created. This video is not a collab with anybody, but I will be using quite a few products. So if you watched the last video I did with the DIY collab, I said that I was going to do this little table. So I bought this table at the local Goodwill. It is not solid wood, it's laminate, so we're gonna go over how to, paint this and get this prepared. But it was $15. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually decoupage on it. My son loves nutcrackers. I am gonna use a whimsical paper right here. This bad boy. This guy right here, I'm gonna use him on the top of this. So that way I can use him to decorate, and then the rest of the times of the year I can just put like a sheet over it or a tablecloth over it or something like that to use it. So if you guys want to see that, we're going to make this colorful, and I'm going to try to, make something cute for the holidays. All right, if you want to see that, stay here. Here's a little overview of this table. Like I said, I got it from Goodwill. It is not the best quality table, but it's cute for something to just put out during the holidays. It is super dirty. So the first thing that we're going to do is clean it really well. And I have some cleaner in this mister bottle. So make sure you're writing on your mister bottles, whether it's water or cleaner, if you're going to do this. That way you don't get confused. And then after this is dry, I am going to take a piece of sandpaper, or this is a sanding pad from Surf Prep, and I'm going to sand over the entire thing just because it's not real wood, so I want to make sure that the primer is sticking to it. This one is a very fine pad, so after I'm done doing that, I'm going to wipe it off again with a damp cloth just to get all of the dust off. You can see that there's going to be some dust that'll turn a little bit white. Once this is done, we are going to take our Pureco gray primer, and I am going to paint the entire thing in 2 coats of primer and allow it to sit for about 12 to 24 hours before I start painting. Once I have let my primer sit, I am going to go over the top with a white all-in-one paint. So this is Merino. It's kind of got a warm tone to it, but this is from Pureco. This is her silk line. I want to put a lighter color underneath because we are going to be decoupaging and it's going to make it pop. So I'm going to put 2 coats of this over top and allow it to fully dry before we go in with this holiday soldier paper by Whimsical Designs. He's so super cute. I thought it'd be perfect for this table and to pull it out during the holidays because we have like 25 nutcrackers in my house, or probably more than that. And so I'm just fitting him right now. This is a perfect size. You can see we are going to lose a little bit of the top and a little bit of the bottom, but you're still going to be able to see exactly what he is without losing a lot of the design. So I am cutting out to a little bit bigger than the table, so that way we have a little bit of overlap and we can sand that off later. But you can see I'm cutting the bottom and I'm going to fit the top. What I'm doing is I'm going to rub it across the top so that way it makes a crease, so when I flip it upside down I'll be able to see where I need to cut it. If you guys see the crease, now I know where I need to cut it. Because this doesn't go all the way over to the edge, we are going to take a wet paintbrush, this is just water on this paintbrush, and create almost a jagged edge, so that way we can pull this paper away from, so that what's going to happen is it's going to allow me to pull this paper apart, and then we're going to have a jagged edge, which makes it a lot easier to blend it out because this paper doesn't go all the way to the edge. For this decoupage method, I am going to use a top coat. You can use any top coat that you want, but what I'm going to do is take my Crys'Dawna brush and I'm going to lay down a top coat over top of the area that we painted, and what this acts as is a glue. So we'll put this down and then it's going to act as a glue for the paper, so that way the paper has something to stick to. So once we put this down, we're going to go ahead and position our paper where we want it. You don't want to work the paper too much, but you can carefully move it around just a little bit. And then I'm going to start from the middle of the design and kind of push out with my hands. So that way it sticks to the paper. I might try to push a little bit of these wrinkles out, but I have a rolled up piece of saran wrap in my hand. Okay, so you're going to take some cling wrap, saran wrap, and you're going to use that for the next part. Do you see all the wrinkles? What we're going to do is take that top coat and we are going to put it over top of this piece, and I'm going to take my saran wrap and I am going to push out the bubbles. So I'm starting from the center and I'm pushing out the bubbles. So the areas that you're working, you want to take that top coat and just put a thin layer of top coat over top of the paper, so that way it glides easier. I like to use saran wrap because it doesn't stick to the paper and it really does help push these bubbles out. As you can see here in a second, I'm going to show you. This is the side where we pushed it out, and then you'll start to see over on the right there are creases and bubbles, and so you want to just continue to do this and work all those air bubbles out. Once you have gotten the bubbles out, you're going to go over it with top coat all the way to the edges. And what we're doing here is we are sanding the edges off. So you want to take sandpaper and you want to go in a downward motion, and what it's going to do is essentially cut that paper away from the edge so that you can gently pull it off. Sometimes paper gets stuck, and if it does, peel it off. You can also get a wet paper towel and you can try to soak that paper that is stuck on there and just scrape it off with your fingers. The next thing that I'm going to do is find paint to match up the areas that need to be painted out. So we have Pureco's Alpine, and then I also have DIY's brand new color called Eden, and then I also have their color called Summer Crush. If you can see, I'm just matching up the colors with the paper here. This design is kind of abstract, so it doesn't need to be perfect. What I'm going to do is just kind of take my brush and finish out the designs by just doing some abstract or filling in the lines to make it look abstract. The top is done, so we are going to work on the base. We're going to use Brick, Ochre, Forest, and Cranberry by Pureco. The first thing that I'm going to do is just lay down a base coat of each color. So I will do a base coat of Forest, then we'll do Ochre, then we'll do Brick, and then I'll do Cranberry, and I'll allow it to dry, and then I'll do another coat of them. And then once those are dry, we are going to go in and we are going to do some blending. Okay, so the base is pretty much dry with the second coat. And what we're going to do is we are going to take some of the forest and we're going to put wet paint on that transition line between forest and ochre. And this way we can kind of work these colors together. So here you can see me putting the forest down, and then the next step will be to take our ochre. I'm going to do, and just so you know, for blending, I use a brush for each color. So this ochre brush is its own brush, the forest brush has its own brush, same with cranberry, same with brick. So I'm taking this ochre and I'm pushing it up into the forest. We are using a mister bottle every so often, not a ton. We just want to use enough water to allow the paint to move with each other. And so I'm pushing the ochre up into the forest. It is going to kind of minimize the brightness of the yellow, which is fine because we are going to have just kind of a small transition between everything. So if you can see right here, I'm taking the ochre and I'm going to dab it in and do almost kind of a dry brush, going over where the pre-existing ochre was up into the forest. This allows me to make that ochre a little bit brighter. It is going to get a little bit muddied because of the other colors, but we're taking the ochre, we're going over the brick, and then what we'll do is we'll end up taking the brick and putting it up into the ochre. So you want to toggle between the two brushes, and as long as you have the moisture from the paint and you have a little bit of moisture from your mister bottle, you'll be able to blend these together. Use a very light hand. This is the chalk line, so it should blend very easily together. I'm taking that ochre brush and I'm just lightly doing a little bit of a dry brush over the brick. And as you can see, I am just kind of layering on top and layering over one another until things start to blend. I wanted the edges to have a little bit more character, so what I'm going to do on the edge of this table is take the forest, and what I'm doing is just doing some stippling motion, and then I will take a mister bottle and mist it a little bit, and then take a paper towel and go in the opposite direction. So I'll go up and down, so that way the forest stays inside of the little crevice, but then we pull some off so that way we can see the green underneath. I'm going to finish this piece off with some Pureco black wax. Black wax a lot of times does a really nice effect, or it has a really nice effect. It deepens all the colors to almost make them jewel toned. So if you're putting it over white, obviously it's going to really darken the white, but if you put it over colors like the greens and things like that that we've used here, it is going to give it more of a jewel tone effect, which you will start to see. And it's just kind of giving it an aged look, so that way not everything, it's still bright, but it's not super, super bright. So you're going to put all of your wax on here, wipe back the excess wax, and then allow it to sit and cure. Okay everybody, so this video is done. I hope you enjoyed that. The little table is behind me. It's not really one of those pieces that you can actually, you know, see, like this piece that, I don't know if you guys recognize this, but this was from years ago. So This piece right here, I'm going to pan over it so you can kind of see what it looks like in the space. And you can see that there are 3 little nutcrackers. I have tons of nutcrackers. I want to say I probably have about 20 around my house, if not more. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Everything is found down below. Now, I will say that Pureco is not available in the US just yet, but the order is coming to the US and it will be available. We'll let you guys know that as soon as possible. Otherwise, it is available in Australia right now. Till next time, happy creating, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Hey, darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get